And there's a massive showdown over the Uniform Civil Code ahead of the 2024 poll battle. The Parliamentary Committee on Legal Affairs met today to discuss the Uniform Civil Code, which saw a heated debate over the subject. Opposition parties questioned the government's intent and also the timing of the UCC push, asking why the government wants to bring it when there are just 300 days left for polls. Times now has an inside track of what happened in the meeting and the stand taken by parties. Some of the opposition parties, including the BSP, the Shiv Sena, UBT and the BRS, did not oppose the uniform law, but asserted that it should not be brought keeping in mind elections. After Uddhav Sena, Sanjay Raut brought up concerns related to the Northeast. The head of the committee, BJP MP Sushil Modi, suggested that the tribal community and Northeast states could be kept outside the ambit of the Uniform Civil Code. However, parties like DMK stated that if they are exempted, there will be no uniformity. They also questioned as to why the UCC consultation process was being revived when the previous Law Commission had already gone through the process for 2 years and came to the conclusion that UCC wasn't desirable at that stage. To answer all these questions raised by the opposition, BJP MP Mahesh Jethmalani, who was also part of the meeting, joins us on the show. Mr. Jethmalani, many thanks for joining us. You were part of the Parliamentary Standing Committee meeting on law and justice to deliberate on UCC. I know you can't divulge the specifics of what happened, but can you take us through what was the larger response today at the meeting?
Yes, I mean, it's a little premature because nobody has seen the contours of any bill as yet, which may be introduced in Parliament in future. So until one sees the bill, it's a little premature to say that, talk about confidence and all that. But I think by and large, there's a constitutional mandate, and I think all members of Parliament, including the committee members today, are conscious of the fact that this is a constitutional mandate. There is Article 44, which calls for a uniform civil code. So if there's any, dissenting voice, it's only about that, we should take all stakeholders into consideration and not rush into it, carefully consider it, and then pass any law introduce any law and pass it after that.
Right. The reason I'm asking is that do you feel there's a greater consensus this time around? We see parties like the BRS, BSP, the Sena, UBT, who, while they may not have come wholeheartedly in support, they've also not opposed it like a section of other opposition parties have been, even the Aam Aadmi Party saying that they support the idea in principle.
Why should there not be a consensus, Madhav? I mean, what is the Uniform Civil Code about? I don't think people realize. I mean, the problem is every time this government introduces a bill, no matter how benevolent that bill is, right, there's an instant opposition to it, and normally it is based on, this government is bringing in a law which is anti-minority. What is this bill seeking to do? This bill is basically only concerned with matters pertaining to the family. It is concerned with marriage, divorce, custody or adoption of children, maintenance and inheritance. These are issues which are humanitarian issues meant to resolve family disputes and to make a family live harmoniously, right? If people talk about the diversity of this country, if on these fundamental aspects you can't reach a consensus on humanitarian grounds, right? That how do you treat your women, how do you treat your children, what do you do with illegitimate children, what do you do about succession issues, whether women should be entitled to succession or not. I mean, these are the issues with the Uniform Civil Code based on constitutional morality and common sense of decency and fairness. So if you can't achieve that much, what use the diversity in this country?
Also, if you could just elaborate for us the processes and what are the stages towards this legislation. When can we expect a proper bill to be introduced in Parliament? Because, we've already seen Uttarakhand coming up with its draft, which is to be submitted soon. Do you see a possibility that states in the country will probably enact the Uniform Civil Code before the centre comes up with a national law?
See, I mean, that would be expecting me to be a clairvoyant. But yes, I mean, states are already active and it's highly possible. I mean, I can't say it with any degree of certainty. But yes, it's highly, even more possible is after the Prime Minister has made that statement about the need for a Uniform Civil Code after his return from America, shortly after his return from America, that there may be a bill in Parliament soon. And why not? It's the BJP's manifesto since the party was born in 1980. The UCC has been one of its core principles, one of its key platforms.
Right.
Why should it not be introduced? We've gone to the electorate and won elections on that basis.
So also what's very important is that the 22nd Law Commission of India has sought views of religious organizations and public on the issue of the Uniform Civil Code. Today it has of course come out during this meeting that more than 19 lakh responses have come in so far. So what does this say about the initiative? Are more people actively engaging in a conversation around the Uniform Civil Code now?
Yeah, it started in 2016, a little slow off the blocks in terms of, response. You're right that there wasn't that much of a response, but I think there was a new government. But right now the government is settled in, and it's been very robust in seeking these responses. And the responses have come, 19 lakhs already, and we've got till 13th of July, or till the closing date for responses has been fixed.
So what about the larger question that has come up time and again about keeping tribals out of the UCC? Will they be exempt? That's a question that, many opposition parties are raising, because there is talk about the 6th schedule, which anyway protects their rights, in terms of their own culture, customs, etc. And will this lead to others asking for exemption as well? So where do you stand on this issue, sir?
No. There is no question. This is a red herring. There is no the constitutional provisions pertaining to tribal rights themselves say that they are exempt from any other law unless specifically said that the law will extend to them. So this is a complete red herring. It is not to extend to them. Nobody is interfering with tribal rights and tribal customs.
All right, thanks so much, Mahesh Jethmalani, for joining us and sharing with us your perspective. Of course, all eyes on the Law Commission, which will continue its process of consultation until the 13th, and then perhaps a few months later will come out with its draft report following all of those consultations. Thank you so much for joining us with your perspective.